Akash Dile, this is Sakina Bhatt and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. Youths can lead the world towards peace and equality, says His Holiness the Dalai Lama at 3rd United States Institute of Peace Dialogue. CTA President delivers keynote address at Chinese Outreach Forum and Training. U.S. Congressional Staffers delegation receives audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Tibetan Children's Village School thanks India on its 58th founding anniversary. His Holiness the Dalai Lama met with 28 youth peace builders from 14 countries of conflict in the 3rd annual dialogue with youth peace builders drawn from countries across Africa, the Middle East and Asia at his residence in Dharamshala on Wednesday this week. The annual dialogue series is a collaboration between USIP and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which aims to strengthen the abilities of young leaders working to build peace in the world's most conflict regions. His Holiness's remarks weighed heavily on the increasing use of violence and advocated for a greater role of youth and education in the transformation of peace, stressing his conviction that education is the key to changing people's way of thinking.
In order to future, more happier future, more peaceful future, firstly, who creates this violence? War. Not by animal, but by human being. And basic human nature, now some scientists say, basic human nature is more compassionate, including ourselves. I think 7 billion human beings. We all come from our mother. Our life, the affection, love, is so important. Our life started that way. So everybody have the seed of compassion.
His Holiness reiterated the significance of ancient Indian knowledge for its contribution toward the understanding of the human mind and for tackling negative emotions. CTA President Dr. Lobsang Singye delivered the keynote address at Chinese Outreach Forum and Training at Tibetan Administrative Training and Welfare Society on Monday this week. At his opening remarks, Dr. Singye spoke about the significance and aim of the workshop by expressing that the aim of the workshop is to reach the Chinese around the world who are not aware of the history of Tibet. He also added that Tibetans should try to bring up more awareness about Tibet's situation to the world. He further stated that China is drawing attention from people around the world as it is becoming the most powerful country in the world. Other important topics such as China's market economic status, One Belt, One Road, the aims of Central Tibetan Administration, and the importance of dialogue with Chinese people to resolve the issue of Tibet were also discussed. Expert speaker Dr. Ting Yifu spoke about the Chinese perspective on Tibet and Tibetan struggle. He talked mainly about the middle way policy and stated the importance of a dialogue between Tibetans and Chinese. A U.S. Congressional Staffers delegation led by Senate Foreign Relations Committee staff Michael Schiffer, Damien Murphy, and House Foreign Affairs Committee staff Sajid Gandhi received an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama on Monday this week. The delegation also visited the Kasha Secretariat and the Tibetan Parliament in exile. Speaker Venerable Khenpo Sonam Tempel welcomed the delegations and briefed them on His Holiness's meeting with U.S. presidents as well as on the significance of Reciprocal Access to Tibet Act. He also commended the U.S. Parliament and government for all the support rendered towards the issues of Tibet, which he solicited would continue in times to come. The Upper Tibetan Children's Village School began its 58th founding anniversary celebrations with Thank You India as its central theme for the year on Tuesday this week. The first of 3-day celebration was graced by 12th Jamgon Kanting Taisitu Rinpoche as the chief guest and President Dr. Lobsang Singye as the guest of honor.
Jagar Pape Yurje
The chief guest, Tai Situ Rinpoche, in his remarks, offered rich tributes to the centuries-old friendship shared by India and Tibet and remarked that India was and remains the greatest host and supporter of Tibet. Rinpoche advised Tibetan children to learn and preserve Tibetan language, which has the potential to bring peace and harmony in the world. He also remarked that Tibetan language is vital to serve the Tibetan cause. Addressing the celebrations, President Dr. Singye applauded the Tibetan Children's Village School for their 58 years of service in the field of education. Dr. Singye also discussed education as an important part of CTA's 550 vision. He asked the young students to become contributors to the Tibetan cause through education. The three-day celebration included athletics meet, art exhibitions, debates and cultural shows dedicated towards thanking the Government of India and the state government of Himachal Pradesh for their generosity and hospitality. Thank You India is a part of the official 2018 Year of Gratitude flagged by the Central Tibetan Administration. Founded in 1960, TCV is the largest residential school of the exiled Tibetan community. So much for this week. See you next time and have a great weekend.